Welcome back to Nerd's Best Advice, and today we're going to continue working in a little bit of C++. So, if you haven't watched the previous video, I explained how to write a simple little Hello World application. In this tutorial, we'll build off of that, and we're going to learn about some basic data types. So we're going to probably learn about the integer, the double, the C string, and the string in this tutorial. Let's go ahead and get started. So right now, you see here, we had cout hello world for our previous application, and we had getChar here. So we're going to start by deleting getChar and this include directive up here. The first thing we're going to do is declare some variables. So in C++, how you declare the variable is you type the data type, type the name for the variable, and then you can initialize it if you'd like. Now initializing is just basically telling the program what the value of that data, or what the value of that variable is when you declare it. So let's go ahead and declare an integer. So we're going to type int, that's the data type, and we're going to call it number of houses. So it's perfectly legal to type number of houses as an integer right here, and just leave it uninitialized. So just quickly to initialize it, you could do, for example, equals 0, and that would set it to 0. And you can also, in parentheses, type 0, and that will also initialize it to 0. So we're going to go and remove hello world here, and just put number of houses right in the cout statement. So this is going to print whatever value is stored in number of houses right now. And just to keep it from closing on us, we're just going to do cn to greater than signs number of houses. And what this will do is it'll try to read whatever the user types into this value here. We're just going to use it to keep the console up. So to leave a variable uninitialized like this is a little bit dangerous, especially if it's not a string, because what this is doing when you declare this variable is it's reserving a place in the memory of your computer to store the values that you store in this integer. Now the problem with that is if you don't initialize it, the values that were in the memory beforehand are going to be what's stored in this variable. So most likely it's going to be complete garbage, and it's going to be this ridiculously large or very small number that is going to do nothing for your program. So depending on your settings, you may be able to run your program like this. You may not. I currently right now cannot, but if you can, it'll print out garbage for you. So we're going to go ahead and initialize it to 5. We're going to run the program. You can do this by hitting F5 or the green local Windows debugger button up there. So we'll run the program like this, and you can see we have an output of 5. So next we'll do a double, which is basically a larger integer that you're able to do decimal points with. Let's see, decimal number is equal to 52.63, and then don't forget the semicolon at the end there. So now we want to print both of them, and again we'll learn what we learned, or use what we learned in the last video, where we can append multiple things to a cout statement with 2 less than signs. So just so that we can read this better, we'll do cout int colon and then 2 more less than signs, and then ending it with an end else, so it'll go to the next line. And I'm just going to copy and paste this here, change this to double, and we'll output the value of the double there. Hit F5 to debug the program. So now you can see here the value of the integer is stored as 5, and the value in the double decimal number is 52.63. So there are 2 more data types which you will likely use a lot if you're writing programs in C++, and the first one is a C string and the second one is a normal string. You likely won't use C strings as much, but if you're looking at some older programs or looking at things written in C, you'll definitely use C strings. What C strings are, basically are an array of characters. So if you don't know what an array is, it's basically, you can think of a list separated by commas of different characters. So if I wanted to have hello world represented as an array, you can think of it as an H, and then an E, and an L, and an L, and an O, and a space, and so on. And you can access these individually. So it's not stored as this full string, hello world, it's stored as the individual characters. So to declare a C string, we're actually going to use a character array here. So we're going to type char, spelled as char, and then we'll type the variable name. So we'll do C string var for a variable, and then two just normal brackets there. And this is, you have to declare a length of this array. So C strings have a certain set length, and anything that you try to store in it that is longer than this length will not fit. So for now, we'll just have a length of 50 and set it equal to, in double quotes here, hello world, and then a semicolon there. So just to test and make sure that this works, we're going to go ahead and see out this here. We're going to change this to C string and change this to the C string var. So cout knows how to output C strings. It's able to handle those arrays and output them as we would expect. So we can go ahead and run again using F5 or the local Windows debugger button up there. So now we can see that we have the 5 in the int, the 52.63 in the double, and in our C string we have stored hello world. So the next variable type, data type we're going to look at is called the string. And this is new in C++ versus in C. And basically this is like a C string, but a lot easier to work with and a lot safer as well, as there's not a set size, so you can't store more in it than it can hold. If you're using Visual Studio, they will let you just use a string basically without any problems. But for this to be compiled on other operating systems and to be safe, we're going to go up here and do hashtag include lesson sign and just type in string and then close it with a greater than sign. So now to declare a string, it's very easy. Just do string and we'll type string var and set it equal to, just like a C string, we can initialize it and we'll type hello from string. Now it's important to note that with strings, if you do not initialize them and just leave them like this, by default they will be a blank string, so there will not be any garbage in there. Now we will go ahead and copy and paste this and output the string so that we can make sure that that worked as well. And again, when you're outputting a C string, you do not need to have the brackets at the end of the variable name. Go ahead and run it with F5, and we can see here that we have 5, 52.63, hello world from the C string, and hello from string from the string. So there are some basic data types for you. There are more data types than this, of course, for example, floats and 64-bit integers. And of course, you can also create your own data types with classes and structs, etc. So we may cover those in some future videos, or if you want to learn about them right now, go ahead and search for them on the Google, and I'm sure you will find some great things. If you have any questions, comments, anything not working for you, go ahead into the comments section, let me know. I do read those and I will do my best to respond to them. So if you like this tutorial and want to see more maybe and thought it was worth it, I'd encourage you to go ahead and subscribe. I really do appreciate that. Thank you very much for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.